Just right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, 1 Million Cups. Hopefully we're able to get this out live to you guys. If not, we'll get it posted as a recording onto to Facebook so you can see what's going on. We got a couple of great presenters, but before we get there, I just want to rehash with you guys kind of the rules of 1 Million Cups and how everything goes. We got two presenters with 6 minutes to talk for each. A little bit of community announcements in the middle, getting to some of those big things that'll help you guys survive and thrive in today's COVID-19 world. Also want to give a big shout out to, we'll go first to Mac for our coffee roaster. Hopefully you guys have got a bag of Eagle and Crane coffee there at your house, so you're able to keep going. I know I'm sure enjoying mine. Over to you, Mac.
Hey everybody, Mac with Eagle and Crane Coffee Company. We have a special during this COVID time where we're giving out pour over kits basically at my cost. I'll post a link in the comments on the Facebook video, but we're happy to support and happy to be a part of this community.
Thanks a lot, Mac. And then just as a reminder, you know, back when we get back together, we'll have lots of cups. The 1 Million Cups are all supplied by the SBDC and the Better Business Bureau, keeping us going. And then shout out to the Warehouse Restaurant as our normal location sponsor, and hoping they are doing well, and look forward to getting back and getting face-to-face with you guys once all this is over. All right, and with that, it's time to start our presentations. Our first presentation is going to be with Raquel Dills from Burn Boot Camp. She's presented with us before, so this is going to be a great chance to get an update on what you're doing, Raquel, as well as some of the challenges with the new way forward with your business. So over to you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again. So I'm Raquel Dills. I'm the owner. My husband and I are both owners of Burn Boot Camp, Colorado Springs. It's a franchise. And like I had said before, I am not originally from Colorado. I like to say that I'm a transplant. I'm originally from Hawaii, but ended up here due to the military. And like I had said before, huge military family. My father was in for 20 years. My father-in-law was in for 30 years. My husband was in the Air Force for 24 years, and then 4 years as a cadet at the Air Force Academy. One of our kids was in the Army for about 6 years in the reserves. So just a long history, and we're very invested in this community. So we love the Colorado Springs area. Between us, we have 7 kids, and so 6 of our kids, one unfortunately will not be getting to graduate this year, but 6 of our 7 kids have graduated from local District 20 schools here in Colorado Springs. 5 of them still live here in the Springs with us, and so we have a lot of deep roots here in the Springs, and we love to give back to the community and to support the area. And so I had started out moving here back in '91. My father was stationed at Fort Carson, and he and my mom decided to retire here. And I went to Blair Business College. I don't know if anybody remembers that. That was years and years ago. I think I graduated there in '93 with my associates in business administration, and started working at Coca-Cola, the distributor here. Did some accounting for about 10 years, and then worked in children's ministry at New Life Church for 11 years, 6 years as the preschool kindergarten director, and then went back to school to get my teaching degree. I wanted to give back to the community, wanted to really impact lives, and I felt like I worked really well with kids. I love teaching, so got my teaching degree at CCU, so the North Campus up here on North Academy. Then I met my husband, then went on to get my master's in curriculum and instruction, and then started teaching at the Vanguard School. Did that for about 4 years, and then started attending Burn Boot Camp. I was turning 46 or 46, sorry. I wish I was 36. I was turning 46 years old at the time, and felt like I needed to get physically active. You know, I wasn't doing a lot, had never really been active growing up. And so felt like I wanted to be around for my grandkids and, you know, just have a good quality of life. And so saw this Groupon, decided to check it out, and went and started and did it for a month because I knew it was going to take me a month to create a habit, and for me to really see if I really enjoyed it, see if I liked it, and just fell in love with it. And I love the community aspect of it. I loved that they really promoted the women getting to know one another and supporting one another and encouraging one another. And through that process, probably 6 months in, I just felt like I was a better person. I was a better wife. I was a better mom. I was a better teacher. I just felt more confident in who I was, and just love the community. I loved the vision of what the founder and his wife started with. They started, in a parking lot and kind of grew this and saw that women needed time for themselves. They needed time to, work out and get those endorphins going and to feel better and to have that confidence and that self-confidence in themselves to be better at whatever it was that they were, whether they were a mom, in the business world, a wife, whatever it was. And so I fell in love with that. And there was an opportunity where they were looking to open new franchises. And so my husband and I had kind of looked at it. He had been in the business world. His parents owned hotels off and on growing up. And he also dabbled in some cattle when he was in high school. He had some property before he graduated. So he was very business minded. And so always talked about business. And I was totally content not owning a business. I was totally content working, doing my teaching gig or whatever it was I was doing. But this opportunity presented itself, and I told him that the gym had impacted me so much that I would love to impact other women and other people as well in their fitness journey, just in their mental health and their emotional health. And so we checked into it. He called Burn Boot Camp to see, the process. And so we kind of move forward with that. And then the current location that we're at, those owners, as I talked with them about what are some things I should be looking for, what were some pitfalls, location, all that kind of stuff, they had asked if we'd be interested in purchasing their location. They were remote owners. They live in North Carolina, so it was hard to be really invested in the community when you're that far away. And so we talked about it. We felt like I was already integrated into the gym and knew a lot of members, and that transition would flow really well. And so we started the process and eventually took it over in October of 2018. So it's been around for 3 years in March, and then we took it over October. So we are coming up on our second year of ownership. And so just continuing to try to grow our community and empower women, in all aspects of their life, to support them, to encourage them, to find the right fit. If they come and try us out and it's not the right fit for them or the times don't work, we always encourage them to find a place that does work. Our goal really is to help people to get back into a fitness routine, to get back where they're healthy, get their nutrition on track if that's what they want, really just helping them with their goals. So it's not, we're the best gym for you, but we want to help you find the best place for you. We love what we have and what we have to offer, but ultimately we just want people to be healthy. We want people to move their bodies. We want people to see the importance of, just moving, 20 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, going for the walks. I know right now is a great time. I see so many of my neighbors outside. I didn't realize how many dogs we had in our neighborhood, until recently. And I didn't realize how many families, with little kids, they're all outside now. And so I do love that. And so, our goal is really just to help people transform their lives for the better and make it a long-term thing, not just a 30-day fix, but a lifestyle change. And so that's really what we're here for.
Got to remember to get off mute today.
Oh.
Very good. Thank you for the presentation. We'll give you the big round of applause here for 1 million cups. And then I guess we can open it up to questions. Anybody want to take the first one?
I do.
Pam, you're up.
Okay, so I've known Mrs. Dills because she taught my daughter in elementary school. So I was thrilled to see her at networking groups and to know what she was doing. outside of her elementary school education career. So how difficult was that transition for you? Because I know you loved it so much, and I think it's kind of a loaded question to ask you, who's easier to work with, children or adults?
I definitely have to say kids. So it was a hard transition because I loved it so much. And I really felt that's kind of where God had called me, is to work with kids. And that was my mission field, was to love on these kids in the school system. But, you know, whenever you feel comfortable, I feel like that's when God's always moving you. He's always moving you into a different direction, or he wants to grow you. And so I've always struggled dealing with adults. You know, they're just a little bit trickier. You can win kids over with candy and with praise and, you know, those types of things. And so it was scary. I thought, I don't really love other women. You know, I've always had guy friends. I've always been more comfortable hanging out with guys. And so I thought, okay, God, you're growing me in some other area that I'm not aware of yet. And so I said, okay, let's just do this. And, you know, a lot of it's the same because you're really just encouraging, supporting them. A lot of them will come to me and talk to me about problems or issues. So it's very similar to what kids are going through. And sometimes I have to look at it that way. You know, yes, they're adults, but a lot of the things are the same. They want to belong. They want to feel cared for. They want to feel like somebody's listening to them. They want to know that they have a champion or somebody who's going to support them. And so I've found that to be the biggest thing, is people just want to know that, you know, that they're there and that they're important, just like kids do. And so it's been nice, you know, transitioning that and supporting women and then helping them and seeing them grow, kind of like we do with kids, you know, and you're still kind of teaching them. I've trained some camps myself where I've led them through the workouts, and it's been a lot of fun. And they told me, they said, you know, I can tell you're a teacher. You're very like calm, you're very practical, you know, and yet you're encouraging. So I think a lot of that translates over into the fitness world as well.
I have a question. This has been a difficult time, especially for your industry. And, you know, you guys were likely, I'm sure, forced to close your doors. How did you maneuver through the COVID shutdown, and what has been your strategy to move forward?
That's a great question. So what happened was, luckily our franchise founders were on, you know, they were already thinking ahead. So it was really easy for us to pivot from being in the gym to doing everything virtually. So what they started doing was providing a 7:00 a.m. our time live camp through YouTube for our members, led by our CEO and founder. So then we took it upon ourselves to start Zoom camps. So we have a Zoom camp at 5:30 a.m., 6:30 a.m., 9:30 a.m., and then 5:30 p.m. so that people can jump on. So they have access to the links, and it's just for our members, those that are still paying memberships. So we have not suspended memberships or canceled memberships. We feel like we're providing them a lot of value. So we are still allowing them to have focus meetings where they can meet with their trainers. They do it through Zoom. They can do it through FaceTime. They can talk to them on the phone. So we give them that opportunity. We've been providing a lot of additional content for our members as well. So headquarters has pushed down like a body rock video. So it's like a dance workout video, a knockout video that they do once a week, which is more of a kickboxing style workout. They provide 2 kids camps a week live for families with kids. They're providing, you know, coloring sheets that are Burn Boot Camp related. They provide a lot of other activities. And so we are also trying to create a lot of engagement for our members. So we will do every day at 8:00 on our private members page, Simon Says. So like post a picture. So today's was post a picture of a hobby, a GIF, you know, of a hobby or your pet. And so we're always trying to get them engaged. We're asking them to post their sweaty selfies. So after they're done with the workout, you know, post a picture, tag us in it so that people on the outside still see what we're doing. So we're providing a lot of virtual content, a lot of engagement. We have been reaching out to our members via text. We're calling them. We'll be sending out postcards next week just to check in with them. They'll be personalized. I'll be writing some out, our operations manager and some of our trainers, just so they know we care. We did a Easter treat bag curbside pickup. So because we couldn't do our Easter egg hunt that we do in the gym for their kids, we let them come by and pick up some Easter egg treats that we provided for them. And we put up hearts with all of our members' names on our windows, just so they know that we're thinking about them. And now that the stay home order has been dropped, we are able to go back into the gym. So our trainers are doing several of the Zoom camps in the gym, and we have allowed a couple of members at their own risk, those that want to sign up that feel comfortable coming in. We do have them, 8 to 10 feet apart working out, and they're just part of the Zoom video, which is really good. So the trainer can show, our modifications. This is a mod up, a mod down. This is the exercise, but it's getting some of our members back in on that floating floor that they missed so much. So still trying to keep them engaged, trying to maintain that retention as well. And then hopefully seeing that light at the end of the tunnel where we can come back in. So we're kind of doing everything virtual, but we're still trying to keep it personal so that they have that interaction. We're trying to comment on all their posts. We're just trying to keep them engaged, knowing that we still are there for them and we're there to support them. We have encouraging posts that we'll put up as well, because everybody's at different places. And so just trying to meet everybody where they're at.
Good stuff. Thanks, Raquel. I have a question for you, kind of more along the same lines, but looking forward, as we move into safer at home and try to figure out what that really means, and then eventually try to find a new normal. I would imagine you've kind of thought through some stages of how you're going to do this, and I think of your business model is not so different than Dart Wars. The challenge is, when you get that many people back together, sweating, having a great time, that becomes, one of the dangers of COVID-19. So how are you kind of planning to work through that and gradually build back into your business so you can get back to the face-to-face that everybody wants to get back to?
Yeah, so now that we have a little bit more direction. So from the headquarters level, they brought down a lot of policies. So we have been doing a lot of deep cleaning, sanitizing, disinfecting, getting everything ready. Luckily, we have a large facility and we have a really large floor. So we'll be blocking out probably 8 foot by 8 foot squares that people can work out in. And we'll leave space for the trainers to be able to walk around. So everybody will kind of have their little home that they get to work out in on our floor once they are able to come in. We will limit it to a certain number. We just don't know yet because I haven't gone into the gym to actually measure it all out. So once I measure it all out, we'll know exactly how many members. They will have to sign up 24 hours in advance to come in on the app, because we do have a Burn app where they can register to come in. Before it was anybody can come in at any time. We initially probably won't open up our Child Watch, just because that will add to the numbers of members that can actually be in the building. And so we won't start with that. They all have key fobs that they can scan in, so there's no touching. We'll assign them different cubbies. We'll also change some of our camp time so that we have time to do the deep cleaning. So every home will have access to wipes, Clorox wipes that they'll wipe down whatever equipment that they're using. We'll allow it time to dry and be ready for the next camp. And so we're thinking about 20 to 30 minutes in between camps. Everybody will come in through one door. We'll have, one of our staff members opening up the doors so people aren't touching things. We'll turn off our water fountains. We'll really encourage people to use the restroom at home, before and after they come to the gym. They'll exit out a different door. We luckily have 2 different doors that they can come in and out of. So that way we can have everybody leave from one camp before we let people come in from another camp. We will have signs, of our protocol, all the things, all the expectations. We'll provide, gloves and things like that for our staff. And so just trying to make sure we're taking all the precautions, obviously, listening to what our state mandates as far as policies, and also taking into consideration what our headquarters is doing as well.
All right, cool. So I've got a question for you. When you and I spoke last time, we talked about how hard it is being a business owner and just some of those first year challenges.
Right.
Obviously, COVID-19 is a huge one, and not like you ever experienced, thought you'd experience that. Here's some of the bigger learning lessons just in general launching, since you guys are so new, that you personally learned getting this business off the ground just in general.
Yeah, I think definitely do way more research on the industry. I loved it. I loved going to the gym, but I didn't know any of the behind the scenes. So for me, I think it would have benefited me to really talk to more of the owners. So we have a forum where the owners can talk with one another. We share a lot. So it's a huge community, which I love. And everybody shares information. They share questions and answers. And so I think I would have done a lot more of that, just picking people's brains. I would have learned more about how to deal with finances with a business. I would have asked more of how to deal with people. I would have taken way more leadership classes, and just how to interact with people. I think that's been the biggest. I think for me, the operationals part was the hardest for me, was figuring out, okay, what is it that I need to know? Because the previous owners started it when they first started franchising. So much had changed. And so everything was outdated. So we spent so much time getting everything up to code, getting everything in compliance. And so I think coming in with a plan and really, really having known what the fitness industry was all about, I think was the biggest learning experience for me. I think hiring and firing. So I've been in leadership everywhere that I've worked, but I've never actually had to be the one that dealt with the payroll. Wasn't the one that dealt with, having to do the background checks and making sure that they signed contracts and what the contracts needed to look like and what needed to be in your contract. So that was a huge learning curve for me as well. And, what happens if somebody is, out of their contract and they're doing something that, their contract stated they couldn't, and having to deal with legal on that. And so I think it's been a lot of learning and all the moving pieces that you have. I think we've streamlined it a lot. And now with this, everything going virtual, I found that I'm way busier. I'm not sure why, but I seem to be way busier doing everything virtually and doing everything from home than at the gym. And I think it's just, you have so many more moving pieces and you're trying to, stay in contact with your members, trying to make sure that all their needs are being met, while still focusing on, okay, did we, apply for all these different things that we needed to apply for? Am I still, taking care of my staff? Am I still communicating with my staff? What's the plan for next week? What are some fun exercise challenges that will keep them engaged? And so I think, I'm still learning, but getting people that have more knowledge than me in my corner probably was the biggest lesson, was to ask, and don't stop asking, until they answer your questions or you feel comfortable with where you're at.
That's awesome. So yeah, you were stretched quite a bit. You asked for it, huh? So actually, you already mentioned it a little bit, but I thought that was one of the best parts about your gym, is that you have the child watch. That probably is a really short question, but do you want to explain a little bit that it's included in the membership, right?
It is. So we offer child watch, which a lot of gyms don't, and it's free for the 45 minutes that the parents are working out or the mom is working out. And so they can bring their kids. They don't have to sign up. They don't pay extra. It's part of their membership fee. So it's another benefit. We want women to be able to, and dads, when they come in, to be able to work out and know that their kids are in a safe place, know their kids are just on the other side of the wall, being taken care of, so that they can still, get their workout in, they can de-stress, they can just have that me time. And we have some great staff. They all have background checks. We actually had set in place for April 4th for everybody to be certified, CPR certified, AED certified, just so that, they know what to do in case anything happens, but we obviously have to reschedule that for another time once everything starts opening up. But just really quality teachers in there. A lot of them are moms, some of them are members, so they know the gym, they know a lot of the families. And so what we do right now, because we can't offer free child watch, we have the 2 camps from headquarters, the kids camps, and then 2 days a week, Monday and Wednesday, we have 2 of our child watch staff members do story time with those kids, so they can jump onto Zoom and hear some of their teachers read them some stories, just so that they still have that contact and something different for the kids to do.
Well,
Sweet. Thanks,
I
Raquel.
think
Mac, I'll hand it over to you for the special question here to wrap this one up. Go ahead.
All right. So what can we as a Colorado Springs community do to help and support you?
I think just making everybody aware that, we're there to support women, we're there to empower them. And just really our focus is just to help people understand that fitness isn't a bad thing. Fitness can be fun. You can make connections there. I know we have members that have made lifelong friendships at the gym. Some people will come in and say, I don't want to work out with anybody. I like to do it all by myself. And then all of a sudden you see them connecting with other women. And it really is all about community, creating that community and letting people know that fitness is fun. There's different ways to move your body. There's different things that you can do. It's good for your mental health. It's good for your emotional health. It's good for your spiritual health. And that's really what we want people to know. Not one gym's going to fit everybody, but fitness is great. It's helpful. Walking every day is helpful. Just getting people out there and moving and understanding the importance of it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Good stuff. Big round of applause. I'm gonna have to work on getting a better tape recording than just my set of hands here. But thank you again for your time. And I know this has been a real challenge, especially for your industry to kind of work through. So great job keeping that positive attitude and looking for those opportunities to keep working with folks, keeping them motivated, and so we can all get through this together.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. All right, it is time for community announcements. So I guess let's see here. Who's got those up next? Looks like everybody is on.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sam.
We were just going to tell people to put their comments in. I know Mac has a few that he's going to copy and paste in there that were already shared separately on the Facebook page for 1 Million Cups this week. So we kind of are skipping community announcements this week. There's a few that are just on there. So yeah, everybody just kind of keep up with the feed and send us a PM if there's something specific you thought you heard. But we're just going to move right into the next presentation.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Sam. And next up, then we got Ebb and Flow Colorado Springs with Crystal Givens. Over to you, Crystal. Still on mute there, Crystal?
Muted. It's not showing.
You're good, Crystal.
Am I good? Okay. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk and share about my business. And I'm thankful to do it this time because a few weeks ago with COVID-19, I got a little creative and trimmed my bangs. So now you're all looking at my bangs. Stop. So anyway, I'm a grief recovery specialist. I teach an evidence-based program on how to recover from any type of loss. And my story, well, to begin with, I did not set out to start this career path. Grief recovery actually chose me. So a little Reader's Digest version here is, I grew up in a small farm town in northern Illinois, population 750, betcha, really, really tiny. And so I grew up in an alcoholic, very dysfunctional family, and my parents got divorced in high school. I moved to DeKalb, went to Northern Illinois University. Then I moved after graduation, moved to Milwaukee. Then I grew a wild hair, left everything and moved out to California. Played beach volleyball, time of my life. It was great. And few years later, I met my husband on a blind date and we started our family. So when my children were babies, I started to emotionally unravel. I didn't know what it was. I just started to feel really angry. I was very anxious, and we thought maybe it was postpartum. And my husband said, "You need to get help." I go, I agree. I knew I wasn't myself. So I was desperate and I started looking, and a friend suggested to me to go check out this grief thing. And I looked at him like, "You're crazy. Nobody died. What do you mean?" But I went to his program anyway. It was a few weeks in his living room. And in those few weeks, I discovered that the things that were starting to bubble up in me, all those emotions, it was a lot of unresolved pain I'd been feeling towards my mom. And my mom, even to this day, she's still alive, but she has always been emotionally and physically absent. I don't have any memories with her. I mean, I look in my childhood and it's pretty much a black hole. With my mom, there was no connection, there were no sweet hugs, sitting in her lap with tears, feeling comforted by her. I was pretty much of a loner as a child, and even though my mom was there, she wasn't. So back to the babies, I just kept hoping and expecting for my mom, for grandma to show up and meet her babies. I didn't know how to be a mom. I didn't know how to change diapers. I was so afraid to clip their little fingernails. I had my girlfriends come over and help me. I was that anxious. So on top of all those emotions and just hoping that she would show up, because she lived minutes away from me, and she never did. And even to this day, she's seen my teenagers, 16 and 19, a total of maybe 10 times. So as you can imagine, I was filled with a lot of pain and a lot of confusion. I didn't understand why. Why wasn't my mom there for me? And even though I'd forgiven her many times, I had never dealt with all the emotions swimming around inside of me. And again, something about after I had my babies, everything exploded, everything came out. And so going through this program, I learned the specific tools and action steps on how to deal with all those emotions. People say, you just got to let it go. But I'm like, how do I let it go? I was bitter, I was angry. So anyway, this program taught me how to do that. So upon completion of the program, I felt so much better. There was like this emotional shift. And my husband, he said, "What did they do to you? You're back." I go, "I know, I'm back." And I felt so much better. And that was a point in time when I realized I'd found my life's calling. And that's when I realized this is what I want to do. So at that time in Los Angeles, the Grief Recovery Institute was located in Sherman Oaks. So I went to the Institute, I got certified, trained, and mentored by one of the founders. And I've been helping people ever since. And I love doing this, because I can honestly say right now in my lifetime that I am grateful for all of my losses, because I found a way on how not to let them label me, how not to remain stuck by them, how to not let them limit me from doing what I was created to do. So I feel like for the first time, I've really been living the life I was created to do. And my passion is teaching people this method, this program. It's educational, evidence-based, and I love it. So, oh my gosh, I don't know how long I've been talking. So I've been doing this for, several years around my kitchen table. But, as my kids got older, a couple years ago, I said, okay, I'm going to get serious. I'm going to get an office. Woo! So I have an office. Took me forever to decorate. I don't know. That's a girl thing, I guess. But so I thought starting this business would be easy. It wasn't. I didn't know how to do website development. I wasted a lot of time on that, a lot of time and money. And I thought this would be so simple. I just talk to people and I help them recover from any type of loss. But the challenge for me has been obviously now getting out to networking events, and I'm fairly new to 1 Million Cups, and I just love this organization. You guys rock, so thank you. So
All
that's
right, Crystal, there's your
done?
6 minutes. Woohoo!
I lost track of time. Thanks.
It happens to me too. No worries about it. So tell you what, I'll ask the first question and kind of ask you to take us a little down that rabbit hole you were going down. So tell me about, you said you wasted a lot of time on web development, trying to get, you had your idea, the core of the business, but you had all the parts that you were building out around it. Talk us through kind of what you do different as you look back on it. You know, hey, would you hire a website developer? What would you do to kind of streamline and get going faster?
I would remember to not be perfect, just get started. And that's what tripped me. I thought everything had to be perfect. And to get more referrals, I took one referral and ran with one company, and that it took a lot of money and unnecessary time. So lesson learned, get more than one referral and look at their websites, do more research, and not make emotional decisions, even though I do with emotions.
All right, Josh, over to you for the next question.
Yeah, hey, Crystal, thanks so much for sharing your story. Really appreciate that. One of the next question I have, when you say the program is evidence-based, can you describe what that means? Because a lot of what kind of evidence, what's the methodology? I think people would like to know that.
Oh, absolutely. That's a great question. Thank you. Again, it's hard to quantify emotions. Well, how do you prove that this program works? It's emotions. So 2 professors from Kent State University actually started the research, gosh, I think it was 6 years ago. And so they did several programs, pilot programs, and they were able to document and quantify that, yes, this is evidence-based. And I have all the academic information on my website if people want to get the names of the professors and the actual articles that were provided.
Well, and I understand that, but I don't quite understand what evidence-based means.
Evidence-based simply means this program works.
Okay, and what are the metrics that they use to document that? That's what I'm curious about.
Oh, the metrics, to be honest, I don't know. All the proof, so to speak, is on the documentation on my website. I don't know all the logistics because to be clear, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counselor, I'm not a psychologist. So they did all the brain work, I do the emotional work. I don't know if I'm answering your question, but again, on my website, it goes into great detail on all the steps that they took to prove that to make sure it's evidence-based. Does that help? Kinda, I know it doesn't.
Hey, Crystal, I got a question.
I'm a biology major, so I'm very much, one of those. That's the way that I think about things. So that's why I asked the question.
No, I appreciate it. My husband's an attorney, so I get it. All the questions.
I love it. All right, so I've got a question for you. You briefly spoke about how you yourself would have never thought that what you were needing was, grief help. Just share some of the basic things that you work with your clients on. Just some of, obviously you can't share too much, but what type of situations do people, partner with you on, so other people out there that may not know, hey, I can get this service, they know to come to you for that.
Wonderful question. First of all, people don't understand what grief is, that it's the normal and natural reaction to any type of loss. Basically, with COVID-19, we're all grieving. We're all reacting to this. There's been a huge change in what we're used to doing. That's another form of grief. And people just assume grief is related to death and divorce. No, there's more than 40 other life events that are considered losses. Death of a pet, a move, loss of our business, loss of employees, bankruptcy, change in our health. Those are just a few. But so I educate people on what type of losses, but also many people come to me. For example, one client came to me, unfortunately, she found her son died of a drug overdose in her home. You think that would be the loss she'd work on, right? No, there's something even greater than that she chose to work on first. And then we went back and I helped her with her son. So again, people, we don't know what the root cause is until I stir the pot and I draw them out, because bottom line, unresolved emotions keep us stuck and we can't figure out what's going on. And the head is the wrong tool to fix a broken heart.
I love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think I'm next in line for the question there, because Josh really made me think of it, and maybe this goes along with what he was asking too. Sometimes there's a lot of approaches that different people that work in your field use. Is there a particular kind that you use, or how do you work with people to stir the pot, as you said it?
First of all, I take away the barriers, because when people, it's hard for grievers, people are hurting, it's very difficult to reach out and ask for help because of what we've been taught. We need to be strong, we need to just suck it up, or, oh, just give it time, it will pass. None of those things work. So ideally, I meet with people online over Zoom for a brief talk. I go first, I share my story, and naturally that just takes people's guards down. But I meet people where they're at. I used, obviously now with COVID, I have to be wise, but I would meet people for a hike in their barn, sitting on a bale of hay, if they're horse lovers, and we talk. Again, I go first, and then I ask a few questions, and that's when the magic happens, when people realize I had no idea I was hurting over that. There's something about when we're given permission to talk without being interrupted, without being judged, criticized, analyzed, or especially when people don't feel like you're trying to fix them. Oh my gosh, the floodgates open and they feel so free. Because for most of us, we're uncomfortable. If I were to start crying right now, many of you might feel uncomfortable, like, oh, but because we're uncomfortable with negative emotions. We want everyone to be happy. We don't try to fix a happy child, but a child that's crying, we want to say, oh, that's okay, here, have a cookie, rather than letting the child cry, comforting them, meeting them where they're at.
So Crystal, I have one you just kind of triggered. A friend of mine has a quote, and I can't quote it totally, but something about how tears are washes our emotions, washes our soul. So what is it when you look at men versus women? Do you one, work with both?
Yes.
And two, do you see men having a harder time crying and letting those emotions out? You know, for me, 30 years in the fire service, it was all about sucking it up and not showing emotion and holding on to it, and, you know, all of that, right? That's why our suicide rate in the first responder world is 3 times higher than normal, you know. Do you see that as a men-women kind of a thing? Are you able to break through those barriers with both?
I am, and that's a great comment. I appreciate that, Bob, because emotions are not gender specific. And unfortunately, society has done a lot of damage. So yes, I work with both men and women. And to be honest, I love the challenge of working with a man, because if I can help free them up to finally know it's okay to cry. I mean, I see it in my 19-year-old son. I supported him through Marine boot camp by listening, letting him know it's okay to cry. It's okay to say, what in the heck did I sign myself up for? And oh my gosh, I have the tools on how to help. I'm getting sidetracked. Back to your question. Yes, The way this program works, when they learn the tools, when they learn the information, it just takes you to a whole nother level. And actually, the last male client I worked with, he was so indignant that more people don't have this book. He went out and bought a case of my books. He went to all of his friends and says, "You're messed up. You need to go see Crystal, and it's okay to cry."
That's great, Crystal. I want to circle back around to your answer to Brandy's question. You had talked about, you know, everybody's grieving right now during the COVID crisis. And I feel like you have a lot to give to our community. What have you been doing to reach out to our community and help Colorado Springs, the world, our village through this grieving process?
Thank you. That I have been busy, and I've been doing a lot of webinars. Currently, I've been doing community webinars for Estes Park for the first responders there. You know, and here's the challenge for me is letting people know what I do so I can help. And I just get so emotional because I've seen a lot of people hurting. And so, oof, that's my heart. What I do, I had no idea. So see, I'm modeling. Tears are okay. It's okay to show emotion. But what I do, I get people on Zoom and I listen. But what I also do, I teach basic information on the incorrect way on how to deal with emotions. You know, like what you said, Bob, we're taught to suck it up, muscle up, don't cry. You got to be strong for your family. What does that mean? So I teach some educational webinars, very short, to the point, and provide a little PowerPoint. So that is what I've been trying to do. Also, I've been in touch with business owners saying, hey, if your employees are hurting and they want to talk to a professional, call me. And I've been doing that with several companies. And so I want to offer that service. I want to help Colorado Springs. It's just, you know, letting people know that they can call me.
Thank you for all you're doing.
Yeah. Thanks, Crystal.
Sure.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Hold on. Go ahead. I'll let you go first.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Joe. I'm a
That's
gentleman.
okay. You got it.
So, Crystal, can you just talk about the business side of it, like your costs and pricing and kind of that thing? I think that'd be interesting to talk about.
Oh, thank you. First of all, I offer 3 programs. It's the Grief Recovery Method, Pet Loss, and helping children with loss. That's where I help parents help their younger children how to deal with loss. And I do one-on-one over Zoom, or also I do group settings. Currently, obviously, I only do Zoom. But the costs, it's on a case-by-case basis. I do offer a sliding scale, and I don't take insurance because I'm not a licensed therapist or counselor. So that's unfortunate. So again, my price, the range is anywhere from $500 to $1,000. Again, depending on the group size or the individual.
Is that for like a number of sessions, or is that how does that work?
Yes, it's 7 to 8 weeks, which I love. There's a beginning and end. This isn't a lifelong program, which I love. It's not like you're going, I support AA and Al-Anon. You don't have to come see me for the rest of your life. But we usually become friends and we stay in touch.
Good stuff. Hey, Crystal, I got a question for you. You probably had a business model before COVID that's a little different than what you've been doing for the last month and a half or so. And you probably learned some lessons along the way, maybe some surprising ones on what you're planning to do going forward. Have there been any, is your plan to kind of go back to your more face-to-face model that you had before, or has Zoom and the like kind of opened up some other opportunities that you didn't perceive before?
That has been my challenge of just getting out there and meeting people. And you say business model, I'm being very transparent. I didn't have a business model. I just I just had so many clients. My husband said, go get an office. Okay. So I had an office and I'm sitting here. What do I do next? So that's hence why I came to 1 Million Cups. And my clients have been my main referral base. And then also my husband being an attorney, he's been able to refer a lot of people to me. So, and I think the new thing I'm doing differently is planting seeds in my community in Colorado Springs of offering this information, some of this information for free, not the actual program, but giving people some basic information and tools on how to deal with COVID-19. Does that answer your question? I feel like I'm all over the place.
No, that's perfect, Crystal. Thank you. All right, looks like we got time for one more question. Go ahead, Josh.
Hey, Crystal, I think this is just really interesting, so that's why I got so many questions. Can you tell me about any books that you've read that are just kind of like a good starter, for dealing with this? Again, not the program, not to undercut any of the work that you do, but just any good books on grief or any good resources for folks that if they are dealing with some loss that they could read that would help.
You asked the best questions, Joshua. Thank you. Yes, the Grief Recovery Method book. So I failed to mention about the Grief Recovery Institute. That is the book that we use, and it's in over almost 30 languages now. So please download it today. The Grief Recovery Method Handbook, or go to the Grief Recovery Institute website, and there's a ton of information, blogs, and then also, again, on my website, there's more. And I hope that's not a sales pitch, but I'm new at this.
That's perfect, Crystal. All right, and it's time for our special question. We got Brandy Nunez up for that one. Go ahead, Brandy.
All right, Crystal. So tell us, as a Colorado Springs community, what can we do to help and support you?
2 things. Please take care of your emotional health first. This is a tough time. Secondly, please let other business owners, people know that I'm here to help, and they can contact me.
Good stuff. All right. Thanks, Crystal. Thanks
you.
again, Raquel. That wraps up another great 1 Million Cups here in the virtual realm. I hope everybody out there is doing well, and that you guys are looking forward as much as I am to get back together, do this face to face. I think we still got a little bit while longer to go, but we'll keep you posted as those things become more clear. And take every opportunity to keep growing your business, staying positive, and look forward to seeing you here next week. So we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.